What's up, everybody? I'm Joe Longo. This is 30 Days of Inspiration. Thanks for joining us. And this is Ashly Rufo, our guest for today. And she's just a little bit pregnant. Just a little, with not one baby, but two babies.
Yes.
Two babies.
Yes.
So we'll roll right into this. How is this? Because you've still been practicing, not upside down
practicing not so much as
But you have.
But yeah.
Probably more than the average person.
I've kept up with it as much as I can, as best as I can. It's been an interesting transition. If you asked me a year ago, I would have thought pregnancy would be not the worst thing that would happen to me, but a big obstacle, let's say, to everything, to my life, to teaching, to my yoga practice. And surprisingly, it's really opened a lot of doors. My meditation practice is amazing now. It's been super helpful for me. I don't know, it was a different experience than I thought it would be. It's uncomfortable for sure. But it's not too bad.
That it would be.
Yeah.
And so I was so it's soon. They're going to be coming soon.
Soon, they could be coming any day, really.
So, and I'm trying to. Were you pregnant when we were at the Iron Factory?
Oh my gosh, that was what I meant to tell you. Actually, I think it was the afternoon. So we did the Iron Factory, and then I taught a workshop. I went home and I was like, something's wrong. The smell of chicken broth that my mom is making me want to vomit. I have been bloated for a week. I took a pregnancy test, and that is actually the day that I found out.
No way.
I meant to tell you that. Because as I was going up into a handstand, I swear, that was when I was like, something's different in my body. And my husband kept being like, don't, just wait, it's fine. I was like, no, I know myself, yeah.
So I'll link the video of what we're talking about. We went and hung out in this dance space in Fishtown-ish, over that way.
What it's considered.
And there was a whole bunch of us, but Ashly was there. Our good friend Chelsea Gilday was there, and Chelsea moved to Florida. And I remember I came up to you and were like, will you be my new Chelsea? Like, I need that hard class. So Chelsea moved to Florida, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to start practicing with Ashly. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
I went immediately off the
nowhere. And I'm like, what is happening? Where? I need a punch in the belly.
Yes.
And I cannot find a yoga teacher that will punch me in the belly.
Hopefully soon.
But yeah, I was wondering, and I'm like, I wonder if
that was exactly,
That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
So it was a big day.
It was a big day. So the practice has changed. Ashly's very active on Instagram as well. I'll put her feed, and it's good stuff. It's not just look at my booty stuff. It's actually good quality content.
Thank you.
So I'll link that up.
I try.
Has that changed?
Yes. And I think that was another thing that at first I was feeling sort of like pressure to keep posting pictures and things to say, and there was a while that I didn't have anything to say. I didn't have any pictures I wanted to take. I was so uncomfortable. But it came back, and it's just all different now. It's more lifestyle, I guess. A lot of yoga. Oops.
So Stella's here as well.
Yeah, I think it's been a really cool experience. I never thought I would really enjoy pregnancy, and I can't say that physically I have, as some people have. But I think anticipation is probably the enemy of, a fresh experience. So the expectations were much worse than how it actually panned out.
Right.
As always happens.
How has it been not teaching?
Hard. That's the hardest part. Practicing, I don't mind not doing handstands and arm balances. It hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be, but not teaching is really hard. Just because I love, sharing my practice and using it to help other people with theirs, and it was just a way to connect, and I have felt very alienated, I guess, not teaching, which is I didn't think that would happen.
Yeah, because it's interesting, because it's like you, I mean, I'm sure you could have, in a way, for a part, but I wouldn't want to go in one of those hot rooms.
Well, and that's exactly, I was so sick in the beginning, and then by the time I was ready to teach again, I had just moved to the suburbs. I didn't want to go back to hot yoga, and I didn't want to go into a studio and be like, hi, I want to teach for 2 months, and then I'm going to have some babies, and then who knows when I'll be back.
Have a couple of them.
Yeah, so it was hard, but I've been practicing my patience, letting it all unfold as it will. So, it's just another piece of the practice.
Well, when did you start practicing yoga?
I actually took my first yoga class when I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
My mom wanted to go to a yoga class. It was in a church basement. It wasn't a church we belonged to, but her friend from the gym or something brought her along. She wanted to bring me along. That was the first time I took yoga, and I did it for the entire year of 8th grade. Every Monday night.
Wow.
Yeah. And then high school, I sort of did it off and on. College, I started getting back into it, and that's when I started like religiously practicing once a week, twice a week, 3 times.
You know, and you went to state college?
Actually, I went to Scranton for a year, University of Scranton, and then I transferred to Penn State.
Because isn't there some kind of state college connection? Do we have a yoga teacher?
Okay, this is a weird connection. Laura.
Hyman.
Yes.
She's going to be on.
Okay. She works a lot with, I guess she's good
well.
friends with Kristen Bacamini. Twing is her last name now. She was my yoga teacher at Penn State, and she was amazing. She's like the reason that I wanted to pursue yoga, and eventually the reason I wanted to become a yoga teacher, but she put the words with the practice, because for a while it was more of a physical thing for me. You know, it was like it felt nice and it calmed me, but she really put the lifestyle behind it, and that's sort of that's when it took off for me. I was like, this is everything.
When you were still in college?
I was in college. I was a junior in college when I started going to her classes. And that's when I started practicing like 3 and 4 times a week. And just, I would be like, you know, I would work my day around my yoga with her. So that's, yes, exactly.
Wow, yeah.
She's
I love,
awesome.
yeah.
If you're ever in State College.
Yes, go take
Kristen
go take
at Yoga Lab, I think it is.
Yeah, the Yoga Lab. I just happened to be in State College, and I'm like, I'm going to go take a class. And I'm like, oh, well, this is happening. And I went, and I didn't even realize like the connection with Laura and everything. And
yes.
that stuff. And then, where did you train?
I did my training at Power Yoga Works.
You say it in such no judgment.
No. When it was still in University City, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, it wasn't for me. It was a power yoga training, which I like power yoga, but we learned one sequence. We didn't learn any philosophy or history, and honestly, I think that was probably the best thing that happened to me, because I had to do a lot of reading on my own, a lot of studying, and I got to form my own, you know, perception of all of the philosophy, all of the history, everything, and I think that really helped me connect people with it. Instead of just hearing it, you know, someone tells you, it's like when you're educating yourself, someone tells you what to think, and you're like, okay, this is the way it is.
Right.
I got to really, like, you know, mess around with it. It was really cool.
Oh, that's great. Nice.
Yeah.
And when did you start teaching?
I started teaching, I guess, 5 years ago. Right after I graduated college, I did my teacher training, and I started teaching like while I was in teacher training at my mom's friend's Pilates studio. And then I just
jumped right in.
Oh, I did, yeah.
That's great.
And I never stopped teaching since. And at first I was just like sort of teaching. It was mostly my mom, her friends, or my friends, or whoever. But then I really started liking it, and I never thought I would do this full time, let's say. But I guess 3 years ago, I was working at a law firm, wanted to go to law school, and I don't belong in law school.
Yeah, I can't see you being a law. No offense, but I just...
When I graduated college, my dad was like, if you want to go to law school, you have to work at a law firm first, because, you know, he knew better than I did.
Smart.
So I'm glad that I did that.
Dad.
Yeah. I'm glad that I did that, because it never would have worked out. And I decided, like, 2 years in that I was going to quit and go yoga full time. Left my job, went yoga full time, really poor for a really long time. But you know, as you let things happen, they happen as they should. The more that you force them, obviously it just never works out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, so it's been a little bit.
Yeah, it has been.
That's great.
I know. I forget how long it's been.
And like part of all of this is, again, obviously 30 days of inspiration to inspire all of you that you can do these things.
Can do it
and even
in
if
any
it's just
shape,
little,
any form,
little baby steps.
Yes, and it, you know, it unfolds with your life. So I thought pregnancy would be the end of my practice as I knew it, and it was just a different type of practice that came about.
Sure.
Yeah, and it really, I think it also is going to help me, you know, as I sort of digressed, I was like, okay, this is, you know, how people feel when they're learning. And as I have to build it back up, I'll be able to connect more with, you know, how the body works and how different people are in different situations. So it's always a learning curve.
Yeah, that would be great. So there's a fun, silly little thing that I haven't watched yet, but I just happened to catch wind of it on social media, and it's called the Ashly Rufo Show.
Oh, yeah.
So was this, you said this was in high school?
Yes.
And it was just like a fun little YouTube
One of my
thing
friends was very into photography, videography. She made lots of little shows and movies, and she's amazing. She's in California now, but...
Do we want to give her a plug?
Yes, Sarah Greenwald, if you're watching.
Sarah Greenwald?
Greenwald, yes.
Sarah Greenwald.
She's amazing. She does all sorts of cool things now, but I think we were like sophomores in high school, and I was always just, you know, loopy in the mind, and she was like, you're just so weird. I just want to video you for a day. And I was like, that's weird, but yeah, we can do that. So that's sort of how it started, a day in the life. And it blossomed into the Ashly Rufo Show. It all took place while we were in school.
Like school, like early school.
In school.
Like not like...
No, yeah, like in between classes, during classes sometimes, you know, during lunch, whenever we could fit it in. If teachers would let us bring the camera in, we were in there with it.
Oh, I can't wait to watch this.
Oh, it was fun. We were an interesting bunch, but yeah, it's funny to look back and think that that happened in school. But, you know, I went to the Country Day School of Sacred Heart. It's now Sacred Heart Bryn Mawr. They were all about us, you know, cultivating creativity. So
wow.
That's how that came about.
That sounds great.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I forget who posted it, but I was like, oh my goodness, what is this?
That I had classes on YouTube that I had posted. So Emmy.
Yeah, Emmy, yes.
Had Googled Ashly Rufo.
What's up, Emmy?
Yeah,
if you're watching.
hi.
From across the pond.
She Googled Ashly Rufo, and
because you have put out some
happened.
wonderful like instructional yoga
Yeah.
videos.
No,
I'll link
every time
those
someone
up,
Googles
but-
Ashly Rufo, the Ashly Rufo Show comes up. So it comes back to haunt me often.
But that's great. Like people were apparently watching that it's popping up.
I mean, it's fun.
So I've been ending all of these with a hard question.
Okay.
Not really a hard question. But if you can give someone out there watching some advice on, like one piece of little bit of inspiration on how to move forward in the direction of their dreams, their passions, their goals.
Okay.
What
I
would you say?
Drop your expectations and take it step by step, day by day, breath by breath. Things will happen as they should. And if you don't think they should be happening that way, there's something to be learned from them. I am all about drop the expectations, drop the commentary in your head, and just sort of let the experience roll out. Let it be fresh.
Yeah.
Clear seeing.
Oh, clear seeing.
Yes.
I love that. A couple years ago, I did I would make photos and put like words on it, and I was sitting at my desk doing this, and this little quote just popped into my head: openly expect, no expectations.
I love that exact
process, but openly expect, no expectations. Be open to what the universe has for you. I will link all of Ashly's stuff, maybe even the Ashly Rufo Show. And when she's back, when the babies are in her arms, and she's teaching again, go check her out. She teaches a great class, very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.